One of the things I want to do here is give you guys a little bit of a sense now of how the rest of the format is going to go. We've got two other lead speakers that will speak for about 12 to 15 minutes on the various topics. Two SMEs, one that came out of Cambridge, one that is here in London. We're then going to have a panel, and when this panel occurs, I've got some questions prepped for the audience, but you don't want to hear my questions. What we want are your questions, the things that you're interested in asking these experts all about. So be thinking in your mind as these presentations go on what it is you'd like to know. If you're watching online, feel free to send questions in as well. We have somebody who is moderating the stream and can get those questions to me, and we'll be able to present those as well. Our next speaker does have tremendous hair. I like his hair. It's quite good. You'll see there's a bit of a hair theme today. It's okay. I'd like to introduce and bring to the stage Tony Hulme from Ideo, a fantastic innovation company that really helps bring out the thoughts that all reside in us, but we sometimes struggle to bring innovation to bear. And Tony, you can come to the stage. Thank you.
I'll be Tony today. There's a great Tony over there, so I'll inherit that. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to share some thoughts today around humanizing technology. So we've heard some great explanations about how behaviors are changing, but I'd love to actually talk about how the consumer themselves is actually driving the change in the products and surprising us all with what they do. I work for Ideo. I'm design director for Ideo here in London, and we're probably best known for initially designing the first mouse, but subsequently we've moved beyond just product design and we design whole business systems. In fact, we often describe business models as the new unit of design. It's very tough to just pick a product or a brand and differentiate around it. Values created at the interdependencies, the tough stuff to copy. So I'm going to give you some examples of that. And I'll also draw on my other life, which is now as an angel investor. So I was lucky enough to exit 2 companies, and I'm now invested in 15 startups. I think interesting for today's topic is 14 of those are based in London, and of those, only 2 have British founders. So a great reflection of how we're pulling talent into this country. But let's dive into some specific examples. So I took this shot very close to my house in North London, and it was a great reminder to me. We can create products, we can create services, but sometimes the greatest ingenuity is with the consumers themselves. Sometimes finding new opportunities, our job is actually to sort of create petri dishes for their behaviors to emerge rather than to dictate specific behaviors. Even brands like Apple do a phenomenal job of this by opening up blank canvases like the iPhone and the iPad for all of us to develop upon. So let's dive into some examples. So technology has often been successful because it's taken the friction out. This was kind of the first wave of technology. It took out the hassle. We see great examples of this, of businesses doing this still today. So, you know, in the past, it would take a phenomenal amount of time to actually collect a loan. It was painful. In this country, you'd often be standing in the drizzle. You don't need to do that anymore with online services like Wonga. So taking the friction out is important. And actually, for a long time, I think people invested and they looked for businesses that just were there because they took the friction out of the service. They made it easier. But if that was true, you know, you can look at very traditional human needs like knowledge, and you'd look at encyclopedias. And when Microsoft launched Encarta in 1991 and they built up 62,000 articles, you would have said they're absolutely going to win, wouldn't you? And with advertising campaigns like this, you kind of suspected, you know, it reflects their confidence.
Encarta 97 Encyclopedia Deluxe?
I don't got a clue.
It's big news. Over 30,000 articles, more monthly updates, brand new collages, and over 5,000 links embedded to websites. When you're hungry for information, who are you going to call?
Microsoft Encarta 97 Encyclopedia Deluxe.
You watch that advert and you think it's done. They've won. Everyone else can go home, pack your bags. They got up to 62,000 articles. They had an army of people building stories and submitting them. And they took the friction out compared to building a wall of Encyclopedia Britannicas. Hugely expensive, hard-backed, and tough to access. But we all know that's not what happened. Microsoft finally closed Encarta last year, but they started winding it down way before. And the primary reason is Wikipedia. Now, Wikipedia is fascinating to me because they took some of the friction out as well. They've now amassed, 30 million actual sort of, unique users. They've got 20 million articles. They've got something like 100,000 contributors. And in total, how much money have those contributors been paid? Nothing. People are participating for a different reason. And often when we work in projects, we look back to human needs. We look back, why is it that they built this mass of human knowledge without paying anyone? What were the motivations for participating? Now, we know human needs aren't changing, it's just the behaviors, the way we meet those needs is actually changing. So if we look, and I think still holds true, the father of humanistic psychology, Abraham Maslow, made the most famous and probably the best triangular framework in the world, the hierarchy of needs. And it was true in the 60s, the 70s, and it's still true today. So if we take a look at it, so it's the idea, the mere fact that we're in this solid gold building, which I just learned, I'm sort of in awe of that, this whole complete solid gold building tells us we've probably got the physiological and safety needs taken care of. I imagine it's incredibly secure. But once we've taken care of those needs, we can march upwards. We march upwards to finding a sense of love, a sense of belonging. We move to needing esteem, and we move to self-actualization. And I think when we look at the top of Maslow's hierarchy, we see the primary drivers for the virality that we heard described. I think the principal drivers for the viral loop, for growth hackers, for websites to go viral, for people to actually share, are up there by definition. And so if you look at Wikipedia and you think through actually looking at human needs, why is it people contributed to Wikipedia? I think fundamentally Wikipedia is successful because they actually appeal to people primarily for the top of Maslow's hierarchy. We may contribute to Wikipedia for different reasons, but the greatness in that platform is the behaviors are all aligned into achieving something great, which is an accessible sort of mass of human knowledge. So some people will participate because they want to feel a sense of belonging. I want to be part of the Wikimedia Foundation. I want to be part of building something important. Some people will do it for esteem. I want to feel like the smartest person on the topic of collaborative innovation. And some people might actually do it for self-actualization, the idea that we can be the best we can actually be. And it's these businesses in this next wave of technology that I think will grow fastest. And to celebrate that, I've hired a marching band who are going to walk past over the next few minutes to sort of celebrate that we can all be more. But let's dive into a specific example. I actually think this trend is going to increase as people, oh my God, as we start to look to be more as consumers. We see this a lot actually. In the past, materialism was a way of signaling at the top of Maslow's hierarchy. But more and more, we're finding other ways. I think if you just sort of travel through London, you'll see all of the sort of self-storage businesses that show materialism. They kind of show we've all got enough stuff. Materialism isn't the way that we'll meet the top of Maslow's hierarchy any longer. And so we're looking to services. We're looking to platforms. This is true of Twitter. This is true of Facebook. These services are finding new ways of meeting Maslow's needs. And one of the things I've done for IDEO most recently is I founded something called OpenIDEO, which I think is our example of this. We set ourselves the challenge, actually, how can we design an open platform that encourages people to participate for different reasons? Reasons other than just being paid for a contribution. So I'd love to share a short video describing how that works, and then we'll dive into why I think we've designed for these other motivations.
For a while now, IDEO designers have been keen to put the best bits of the creative process online and invite everyone to join in. OpenIDEO is a global community that will draw on your optimism, inspiration, ideas and opinions to solve problems together for the collective social good. Each challenge starts with a big question, something to get all of us thinking. Next comes the inspiration phase, in which we all post inspiring things that we've seen out there that might help us solve the big question. The more visual the posts, the better. Images, videos and stories will all help to get everyone going. After inspiring one another, it's time to flex our creative muscles in the concepting phase. How would you solve this problem? Post your solution and show everyone how you plan to make it a reality. If someone else's idea sparks something for you, you can build on it. OpenIDEO was designed with this way of working in mind. This is where you get to collaborate with other people and where the magic really happens. Once concepts are fully formed, they're put through the evaluation phase. This process is exactly as it sounds. You rate and comment on the concepts that you believe will best solve the problem, according to the given criteria. The concepts that rise to the top in the evaluation phase win, with the winning idea being available for development by the challenge sponsor. Your participation in each phase, plus how much you've collaborated with others, all add up to your design quotient, or DQ for short, which you can choose to publicise or keep private. It offers you feedback and recognition. And because we're all good at different parts of the creative process, we'll all have slightly different DQs. Just like in all good brainstorming sessions, we're going for quantity as well as quality. The more you add, collaborate and critique in any phase, the bigger DQ you'll rack up. The DQ will become a badge of honour for community members over time. In a nutshell, we've created an open online tool that takes you through the creative process. It's highly visual, collaborative, generates feedback, and most importantly, it's fun to use. OpenIDEO offers its community inspiration and recognition. The site will be as good as its input, and we're looking forward to seeing what it becomes. OpenIDEO, an open platform for innovation where we create better together.
So hopefully, in the context of Maslow's hierarchy, having seen those needs, belonging, esteem, all of those, you'll see that we're actually trying to communicate to those needs differently, even with that video. So to give you some examples, I mean, I think this type of quote, Michael, probably doesn't fit into your category of making you look well-read if it's off your own platform. But this quote, I think, speaks to the fact that actually the participants are trying to be part of something to work together, to create something better, a sense of community, a sense of esteem from that. Similarly, when people contribute ideas, this is one that actually we're in discussions with the UK government about now in terms of potentially rolling out. But this gentleman had the idea of coming up with a dictionary to communicate kind of some of the challenging words in terms of startups and tech. He had a sense of sort of knowledge. He wanted to signal his knowledge, self-actualize. And on my own profile, you can see my design quotient is a way for me to signal my contributions, to signal my creativity. So I think these different needs, employing the needs higher up Maslow's hierarchy, have enabled us so far to grow a community with this platform of 36,000 users from 170 countries. And we choose to run that business out of London. We have a small sort of team on the west coast of the States and actually a community manager down in New Zealand to give us sort of 24-hour coverage. But the diversity here, we think actually keeps us closer to our diverse community. So in conclusion, we've tried to design for the top of Maslow's hierarchy. We've tried to focus on delivering these new needs. And I think, particularly with the new wave, once tech has already taken the friction out of purchasing, communicating, these will be the businesses that perhaps grow fastest. So my challenge for you is actually how can you in your businesses, whether offline or online, incorporate and design for some of these fixed needs? Thank you very much.